Good evening, everyone. Today, we are here to discuss about the chapter The Fundamental Unit of Life. This is the chapter from class ninth, fifth chapter of your textbook. What do you mean by the term fundamental? Fundamental means basic. So, when we think about living organisms have their own structure and function. They perform certain function, right? So, these structure of living organism or the body of the living organism is made up of smaller units about which we are going to discuss in this chapter the fundamental unit of life. It was in the year 1665 that the Robert Hooke discovered about this fundamental unit of living organisms, which later he called as cell. In the year 1665, he was observing a slice of cork using self-designed microscope. While he was working with the slice of a cork from a bark of a tree, he found small boxes. It was a chance observation. It was not intentional. This chance observation made him to discover these small boxes which he called as cell. So let us discuss more about these cells, small boxes which appeared to him as honeycomb, just as you will observe honeycomb in this slide. It appeared as honeycomb and he called that small rooms as cells. He is Robert Hooke, who discovered cell in the year 1665. So, in order to observe the cell, he used self-designed microscope. What is the meaning of the microscope then? Microscope is nothing but an instrument used to observe objects that are too small to be seen by naked eyes. So, these microscopes help to observe minute things, microscopic objects. In order to observe microscopic object, microscope is designed with set of lenses. You can see the picture of microscope here. If we start from the bottom, there you will see base of the microscope, right? Base of the microscope is there. Above the base, there is mirror. Mirror present in this microscope helps to focus the light. Light, maybe natural or artificial source of light, is made to focus over the mirror. Then we have condenser over there which controls the amount of light that has to be entering to the stage. At the top stage is there where object is placed. Above the stage we find three knob-like structure which are called as objectives or objective lenses. They'll have lenses of different magnification. Then beside that there is a screw called as fine adjustment screw which helps in adjusting the objectives while focusing the object placed on the stage. Above that, coarse adjustment screw is there which helps in adjusting the object over the stage. Then we have nose piece, then we have eyepiece at the top. Eyepiece is a place where we place our eyes to observe the object under this microscope. This eyepiece is containing lens again of different magnification. This is about microscope which plays very important role in observing cells and their structures. Microscopes are of different types now. Now we have been technically improved a lot. We have different kinds of microscopes. Light microscopes are there, electron microscopes are there, simple microscopes are there. So we have different types of microscopes which are used to observe minute objects which cannot be seen by naked eyes. Now, the question arises, all living organisms are made up of cells. But do you think all living organisms have same number of cells? No, not at all. There are some living organisms which are made up of single cell. Such organisms made up of single cell are called as unicellular organisms. Whereas there are certain organisms which are made up of more number of cells, and such organisms are called as multicellular organisms. I think many examples are striking to your mind. Amoeba, Paramecium, Euglena are unicellular organisms. They are made up of single cell. Whereas human beings, fungi, most number of plants are multicellular organisms. So based on number of cells, we can tell that there are two types of organisms, unicellular. Uni stands for single, multi stands for many. Unicellular and multicellular organisms. Now, do all the cells present in our body are of same type? No, not at all. There are different types of cells. Cells differ in its size, shape, and function. Cells have different shapes and size. You can see over there, muscle cells are there which are appearing as spindle shaped. Spindle shape means broad at the middle, tapering or pointed at the ends. Fat cell is there. Fat cell is spherical shaped. Sperm is there and ovum is there which have their own particular shapes. Nerve cell is there which is having star shaped body and branched at the end. Blood cells are there which appears like biconcave lens. So bone cells are there, spherical in the center, branched at the ends. So there are different types of cells with different shape, size and structure. The shape and size of the cells that are directly related to the function it performs. I'll tell you an example for it. That's about nervous cell. You can look at the nervous cell over there. Nervous cell is having star-shaped body, right? And a long tube is there which ends with branches again. What would be the reason of having this particular shape? The reason for this particular shape is star-shaped body help in collecting the information, and long tube-like structure take the information, and another branches helps in providing the information to a particular part of the body. So, shapes determine the function it performs, or in other way, the function it performs accordingly, it will have a particular specific structure. Let us move forward to understand more about these cells. So, this cell is called as basic structural and functional unit of life. What do you mean by basic structural and functional unit of life? Why is a cell called as basic structural and functional unit of life? The reason is very, very simple. All living organism, that may be from amoeba to the human being, all the living organisms are made up of cell, right? Our body is made up of cell. So whatever structure that I'm having, a particular shape, particular size, particular height, weight, whatever I'm having, my structure is because of single cell, minute cell present in my body. So cell should be considered as basic structural unit of life. Just as how you arrange the bricks make the shape of the building, make the structure of the building. Similarly, how the cells are arranged make the structure of the living organism. Then, why should it be called as functional unit of life? It should be called as functional unit of life because you take unicellular organism like amoeba. It is made up of only one cell, right? As it is made up of only one cell, it should be performing digestion, right? Excretion, respiration, movement, growth, reproduction. All these processes should be happening in amoeba also because it is living organism. These functions which are to be happening in the amoeba happens by single cell. That means a single cell can perform all the functions that I, you or any human being can perform. That's why we call cell as basic functional unit of life. Hope you understand about why cell is called as basic structural and functional unit of life. We'll continue further in our next video about more things about the cell. Thank you for your patience listening.